glad to have you joining us this week as we head to Florida. We loaded up a couple of horses. Actually, we took 4 with us on this trip, and we headed down to the area of Ocala to spend a couple of weeks riding in 2 really neat locations in that area. So we're glad to have you. Sit back and relax, and we're going to share with you some of our adventures while we were in Florida. This is one of the really cool sand roads that they have down there that are really fantastic for horse riders, because if you want to take your horse out and work on some nice straight lines with good footing, these roads are really long, they're great footing, and there's no traffic on them either, so it's really cool. Now on this day we had headed over onto the Greenway in Florida, and we were crossing the land bridge, which is the bridge that goes over I-75 down there in Florida. So this is kind of a tricky little trail area here. It's fun, it's really cool, but it's a little challenging because it's narrow for the horses, plus you've got the bicycles and then those built up flower box things on both sides that are a little bit kind of scary. So our horses did great. Wimpy kind of had some questions and she worked it out and got it done, and we had a great time taking on this obstacle while we were riding on the Greenway. It's a shared trail, bikers, hikers, and horses. But we're tickled to have it, and we enjoy riding in really neat locations like this.
You want one with your camera? You probably got all kinds of them.
Yeah. How cool, huh? Now, with all the excitement of the land bridge, most of the trails you will find are more like this. They're peaceful, quiet. You'll hear birds, sometimes you'll see them fly over, you may run into wildlife on the trail, and most of the trails are sandy, so it's very quiet as you walk along usually, so you never know what you might sneak up on. But we really enjoy the trails down here, especially in the wintertime, to escape the mud and the cold of most of the other northern areas. Now, when you're riding down here, as the trails are really nice and pretty, you never know what else you might find, as we did the day we rode over to the Florida Horse Park. We headed over there to check out the events they were having that day on our horses, and we found they were having a 3-day event with some really fun action going on that course.
There's one going through the water over there.
As we moved around the grounds, we ran into our friends that we had met earlier in the week that were showing their horses at the Gated Horse Show. So we got to hang out with them and rooted them on, and that was a really fun day. We all had a good time, plus we all got to do this on horseback. As you can see there, I'm on Wimpy here filming this video. So pretty cool day, pretty cool things to be able to do from your horses while you're in Florida. You just get to ride over to the horse show and check out your friends. So we decided to give the horses a break one day, and we headed over to Silver Springs Park. That's a state park in Florida, and it used to be an amusement park, but has been closed and is now operated as a state park. A lot of movies were filmed there using the springs, including the Sea Hunt movie. So here's where we take a ride in the glass bottom boat. You'll get to hear some of the tour guides' recommendations for our safety, as where our life jackets are and what to do in case we have to bail out. And then he tells us about the glass that's down there below that we're looking at. And then he gives us a great detailed tour of the area, the different springs, and what we'll see as we go along. So I'm going to let you see a little bit of the tour and check out the glass bottom boat tour in Silver Springs, Florida.
See that bubble?
They call this Spring of Stars because so many movie stars have been here over the years. The original movie was filmed here back in 1916 called The Seven Swans. From there we had Johnny Weissmuller, the original Tarzan movies, and then Lloyd Bridges and
We're riding over here to see if we see anybody on the track going around. They were out here, but it took us a couple minutes to get over here, so now we gotta wait till somebody else comes. Don't get any ideas, Wimpy. This is not what we're gonna do. Florida is such a wonderful place to escape the winter. You won't find stuff like this at home, at least not where we're from. This campground also offered nice paddocks for our horses, and they really enjoyed it. And we spent our last day riding on the trail and enjoying the beauty of this area, and then it was time to move on to our next location. Everyone was excited to have this really cool turnout pen that we could use with our horses. Plus, at our new location, we had an entirely new, different trail system to ride. So everyone was excited to get out and hit the trail. This location also offered many amenities for horses and riders. This location also offered us some really nice stalls for the horses. So that was a plus, especially if it was raining or anything, which luckily enough we didn't get any rain while we were there. And we made a natural obstacle out of the stump that was out in front of the barn. Everybody had fun playing with it. Out of the two locations, the camping was the best at this second location, with nice wooded areas, really pretty campsites, and a nice campground. We enjoyed the trails there for a couple of days, and then we decided it was time to take another day trip and give the horses a rest. So we took the trolley tour and headed to Crystal River to the Three Sisters Springs. Crystal River is the home of hundreds of manatees during the winter that come here to escape the cold waters and enjoy the warm waters of the spring. Ooh, what kind of sea creature is that?
There they are, the manatees.
Yeah, the manatees. They're men and tees.
With swim noodles.
With pool noodles, yeah, swim noodles. The Gulf waters had started to warm up, and unfortunately the manatee had decided that it was warm enough for them to stay out there. So we didn't get to see any manatee on this visit, but we highly recommend it if you're ever in the area. One evening we took a break and headed over again to Crystal River for dinner. We headed to the crab plant, which is right here on the water, so we were assured our seafood was going to be very fresh.
You didn't have to fly away.
And it was a beautiful location and very peaceful, very scenic. You got to see the pelicans, and you also got to see the fish boats as they came in. Again, I highly recommend the crab plant. The food was absolutely fantastic, as you can see right here. This was the best meal we probably had the whole time in Florida. After our meal, we headed over across the water to a little restaurant that was on the water with live music. Wow, we've had a great time at Crystal River and in Florida. We've reached our final day in Florida, and we're all so sad to leave. We make our last trail ride, and it was such a beautiful day. The warmth, the sun, there's just no better place to spend winter than in Florida with your horse. We hope you've enjoyed this video and our adventure in Florida. Please like, share, subscribe to our page, and stay tuned for more of our fun equine adventures, excursions, retreats. As we say goodbye to Florida, happy trails. Thank you so much from Perfect Partners Equine.